tutto quello che ho, in mezzo a tutto questo bel casino, è un motivo per sentirmi vivo, è un motivo per sentirmi vivo. Tutto quello che ho, il sangue che mi arriva dritto al cuore, l'ossigeno che spinge a respirare, è una ragione grande come il mare, come il mare. Tutto quello che ho,
ERL racing continues here in Madrid. Casper Lebow starts on pole from UK Ball and Revo, the points leader, is followed by Linus Eriksson and Lars Leclerc, your top 5. Sims is 6th from Nelson and home favourite Nico Palomino. Then it's Chris Cornwell, Nunez Garcia, Verse Theo and Matthew Hart. Dominic Hudson starts 13th from Charles Hernandez and Oinkro Ezra. Your boy starts 16th from the 2 Hondas, that's Lebarkson and Bogdasarov. Zygmunt is 19th from Ocampo and Puff. Then it's Butler, Sparks YC15 and David 12. Well then, the 4th round of the ERL Formula E World Series takes us to Madrid. Casper Lebow on pole as all 5 lights go on. And we go green. Great getaway there from Revo off the line, covers off Linus Eriksson as UK Ball already past Casper Lebow as they run down into turn number 1. The 89 takes the lead but runs into the side of the 34. Revo tries to fly around the outside and gets the pass done. Eriksson now, the next one to try and get past the Frenchman who's had a terrible start. Revo takes the lead from 3rd on the grid. Lebarkson gets a 5-second time penalty. UK Ball steals the lead back. What an unbelievable start to this race as the 2 former teammates make a bit of contact there. And I think almost into the wall for the 7. But keeps it out of the barriers, the top 7. So close together, separated by mere inches, but it's UK Ball who leads as Versteo gets a 5-second time penalty. Look at Leclerc all over the back and swarming Linus Eriksson, can't quite get past. And breathe as we come across the line to begin lap 2 of 14. My oh my! This is one of the greatest opening laps that we've seen in quite some time. Eriksson gets past Lebow, drops 3 positions from pole. Those softs just aren't quite up to temperature as Hudson gets a time penalty for causing a collision. And I think Revo's trying to close up to UK Ball here. We're on board with the 7 as the Englishman punches in the fastest first sector. He's trying to gain on him. He's always looked quick in that final sector. That's where he was really flying in qualifying. The 5 of Zygmunt getting a 5-second time penalty. Quite fitting, in fact. The 19 of Bogdasarov, Bogdasarov's in the 97. And then 12 getting a time penalty. Everyone's just going bananas here in Spain. I don't know what paellas they're selling by the side of this racetrack, but they've got to be pretty good, because I'm sure everyone's had one. 11 to go as UK Ball punches in the fastest lap of the ePrix. 1.7 seconds in front of the rest of the pack as Kazuki Sims moves up into 5th place. Sims Racing 1 in Champ Car, their development driver 1 in IndyCar, and they're looking for the win here in Formula E to complete the trifecta, but they didn't start too well. Cornwell, after winning last time out, is trying to get onto the podium once again and mount a real title challenge. He's up to 6th place, but Leclerc flies right past him. Cornwell is into the wall and out of this race. Slides back onto the track, but the cautions come out. Forced wide by the 16, and unfortunately just ran out of road. And after victory in Buenos Aires, Argentina, that's day over for Chris Cornwell. The cautions are ending, and you can see Revo looming large right behind UK Ball. It looks as if he was suffering a bit of a issue getting back up to speed. But as we're green again, in come the race leaders. This is now a battle on pit road between Hyperdrive and Power Motorsport. Let's see who's going to take it quicker. It's softs going on for Revo, so he's going to have likely another stop in comparison to UKable if he goes on to something like the hards or mediums. And it is a set of hards for the 89. Comes out just in front of Revo. Versus Theo getting another time penalty for causing a collision. And there's yellows and another caution is for Ewer Puff and Sparks YT15. Oh, facing backwards then for the Scotsman. Terrible occurrence then for him. That's your second retirement, and it's another ERL Series champion. Of course, Cornwell winning in FG and Champ Car. Ewer Puff, the only man to win a tiebreak in the ERL's existence. We're green again. Sims at the head of the pack, but let's take a look to that battle for the net race lead. Revo looking for the pass. This is the fastest he's been all day. He overtakes both UKable and Sparks in one fell swoop, moves up to 12th place, and it's now likely your favorite to win this race if UKable can't clear Sparks. He has cleared the number 65, thankfully. And for the man who's been waiting to win again, this might be his best opportunity. Casper LeBeau with a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. The leaders are coming in. Sparks gets right back past UKable, who is looking for his first race win since Paris season 26. He's top 5 in wins across the ERL, but he can't quite get past. Sparks almost got past Revo though, as Nelson now leads. Ericsson getting alongside with the 89. Almost turns him into Sparks. They don't touch, thankfully. But the Englishman in the 65 defying his own tyre mileage. He's at 8% and into the wall, out of the race. Oh, that's UKable involved. Ericsson with a time penalty, but he's not worst off out of all of that. Sparks is out of the race, and UKable, now with front wing damage, might be out of the hunt. Oh no! With 9 to go. There's so much left in the race. I'm hearing over the radio now, UKable saying something along the lines of, these guys are racing like it's the final lap. Do they have no concept of time? Honestly, you have to agree with the two-time champion sentiment. Palomino getting a time penalty. I think that's contact with his former teammate, as Nelson and presumably Oinkro Ezra both dive down into pit row. And UKable losing time going through that final corner. I would not be surprised to see the 89 dive down into the pits. But this is the fight for the lead then. Revo takes the lead from Linus Eriksson and Matthew Hahn, and as Bogdasarov gets a time penalty, Hart tried to take the lead. They're spinning in a straight line. It's Leclerc and Marcus Nelson there. Bogdasarov was given a time penalty seemingly, yellows in both the first and second sector though, and that was for the same incident. And my oh my, Leclerc got spun around like a Beyblade. Same for Nelson going down that straight. And that has ended Hart's challenge then. 2 seconds down the margin out in front. And Ericsson is into the wall and out of the race. Spins it back onto the racetrack. And that ends the Swiss driver's day. It's the same incident as Cornwell. You're going so fast through there. If you use any attack charge and you go just a little offline, your race could be over, and we've seen that twice already. Palomino, despite the time penalty, still giving his home fans a bit of a show, up in third position. And as we're green again, we've got 8 to go. And yes, UKable did come into the pits there. Sims gets past his teammate, looks to try and take fourth as well. Revo's into the pits for his second stop. So what he gained in terms of pace, he's going to lose out on due to having done that all on a set of soft compound tires. Sims looks to the outside and hits your boy Palomino with a 10-second time penalty. Hart now leading his first laps in Formula E. Your boy there going a bit airborne with Sims. We are certainly reporting that to Marco Persky, by the way. Sims with the fastest first sector of anyone. Butler with a time penalty contact with David 12. It seems Revo's come out of the pits in 13th. Make that almost 12th, but he's getting overtaken by almost Lawrence Leclerc there. The 16 unable to hold the pass. And this is what we're seeing. This is what we have really enjoyed seeing out of these new cars, as Revo now gets a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision with Dominic Hudson. Yo-yo racing is the term, and that is your boy sliding after contact with his countryman. It's almost impossible to pull away. Sims leads us to lap 8 of 14, as everyone now coming into the pits. This is going to be a problem for Revo. He wants to take home the second race win of the season, as he's trying to get past Hudson but can't. And I can't put down a reason as to why. That 31 is able to stay in front, but he certainly is. That is the fact of the matter. And in terms of people on a similar tyre strategy to Revo, Hart is 4 seconds off, 5 seconds off. In terms of their next stop, I think Revo might be racing Matthew Hart, but in terms of where he is on track, he's losing a race against Dominic Hudson. Fastest third sector for Verse Theo, as we are seeing some dark clouds here in Madrid. If you're asking us why we're not racing at the Mad Ring, put simply, construction isn't finished there yet. Revo side by side with Hudson. Don't think he's going to be able to clear the Malaysian just yet. Late braking coming through there as Sims comes into the pits. So Hernandez will take the lead. In comes Hudson and Ocampo. That's a thorn out of the side of the 7 car. Hernandez leads from Nelson and Revo. 4-3-2-1 in terms of laps done on their set of tyres. And U-Cable was up in 5th. With that fastest lap still belonging to him, but with tyres that surely can't do more than another lap. Nunez Garcia with the fastest third sector. And with 5 to go, who is most likely to win this race? This might be a bit of an unpopular opinion. I can see a race win going to this man in the 21. Matthew Hart from Scotland could take home his first race win of the season and make it 2 consecutive race wins from drivers from the British Isles. And even if he can't do it, maybe that wing damage for U-Cable could have saved his strategy a bit. In comes Hernandez as his teammate Palomino gets a time penalty for causing a collision. Revo staying out but is being caught by Matthew Hart. Looming large in the wing mirrors there. Here comes that 21, makes the lunge down into 1, but the 21 unable to get the pass done immediately. Tries to go around the outside, coming through 2, can't quite get it done, lifts off to make sure that no contact is made. And as U-Cables come in again, there goes Hart. But he's not the last of the late breakers. Revo showing a textbook strategy in terms of how to defend. And even with that 5-second time penalty, which he knows is hanging over his head, he knows it's going to kill his race in terms of pace, and he knows that this is probably going to be the last few laps that he's going to get running this high up the order, at least here in Madrid. He doesn't care. He just wants to win. He wants to be in front. And that's what's made him a 7-timer. In comes Nelson. Revo stays out. Matthew Hart comes into the pits, and considering that it is now quite overcast here in Madrid with 3 to go, tyres are going to be a question. Is coming in now the wrong move for these guys? Should you opt to stay out and hope for rain? Hudson gets the fastest lap in 11th place, a 1 minute dead point 870. Let's look at that. Leclerc trying to get alongside with Casper Lebeau, who we have really neglected to mention in terms of the race for the win recently, and that's mainly due to the time penalties he's received. Bogdasarov at the back of the pack getting the new fastest lap of the race, and the 2, oh my goodness, that's Gabriella Barkton moving up into 4th place. Was going to mention the 2 Porsche drivers running 6th and 7th as, time penalty for David 12, and that's what your clerk. Facing backwards there is the number 12, David 12. Gets it back onto the racetrack as Verstio comes to the scene of the incident. Revo stays out for lap number 12. 32% on those ice blue hard compound tires as there are yellows flying in the final sector of this racetrack. Can't quite see a reason for it, and a lot of drivers now coming in at the end of lap 11. Palomino serving his time penalty. As you can see, Hudson and Nelson fighting over 5th. Here comes the 13 making the lunge, the 31, the palindrome version of that number. Of course, that's why these two are so close together, side by side, between Nelson and Hudson, and they're in the wall! Into the wall! And onto the side of the wall for a moment there for Hudson. Nelson gets it back on the road. Hudson gets it back on the road. They're still close together on track. But I think Nelson came off worse. Time penalty and front wing damage. But green flags fly again. Sims on the back of Matthew Hart, trying to get past with the entire field right behind him as we go on to the penultimate lap of this race. Hart is weaving out there. He's trying to be the weave master. Revo stayed out for the penultimate lap of this race as Bogdasarov gets a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. Warriors tire saying they're flashing 16, 15%. Surely his team over the radio telling him to calm it, to try and save his tires, because it's not going to be that time penalty that'll be the worst of his worries if he doesn't manage his tires, as we're on board with Ezra. That number 47 about to go alongside and past for a moment on Sims. This is some insane stuff, and your boy, if he can close up to Revo, he could be on for a show-stopping finale here in Madrid. It's LeBarton's heading off, it's facing backwards, and that is Casper LeBeau, who has been involved in every war of this race, it seems. That 19 gets it back on the road. The 34, however, with a full car puncture developing. The tyres have gone for the 34. As we begin the final lap, there's Theo struggling with his hards. Bogdasarov trying to hold off LeBarton coming through there. I think your boy is just gonna make it by the skin of his teeth, and you can say the same about Revo. I think he's managed his tyres to perfection. Has the 7, and now it's just a matter of making sure that time penalty is no threat. And he's coming up to Casper, who lets him go by. I'm sure he would have wanted him to go into the wall. Did the 34. But now coming through the final sector of this racetrack, he's leading us, but he's not out of the woods just yet, as Garcia getting a time penalty. The cautions come out, but Marcus Nelson, who's hit the wall at the same place as his teammate. Revo will come to the line at a reduced speed, but will that be enough to take him to victory lane? He'll cross the line in first. The margin to your boy, 4.9 seconds. On board with a 27. Is that enough? As the cautions end, your boy is 6.7 seconds off. Revo takes the victory in Madrid. Your boy just denied of his first career Formula E race win. Hernandez third, Ocampo fourth. What a day in the office, and that's a big slide there. 4 cars off the road. Garcia and Ezra both out of the race. It's 12, and LeBarton were involved. My, oh my. I think Casper's gonna, come across the line in pit lane. Don't know why they came in to make the stop then. And by defying his tyre mileage, Revo comes from 3rd on the grid to take the win despite the time penalty. That'll be his 2nd win on the season, with the guy 2nd and 3rd in points, not scoring any points. This is going to shake up everything in the championship. Palomino, he's going to come home with points, but he wants to make sure that he's past Bogdasarov on the road to the line then. And Bogdasarov's in front. With the Toledo clash immediately after this is only part 1 of the ERL Formula E World Series in Spain, and Revo takes home his 2nd win of the season. Win number 58, I believe, if not 59. Either way, tantalizingly close to the record. Your boy unable to close up to Revo in time. And Charles Hernandez with a shock P3 for Tag Heuer Porsche. As for the rest of your finishes, Sebastian Ocampo was 4th from Dominic Hudson and Matthew Hart. Cable went from 2nd on the grid to 7th after a very chaotic race for him. Kazuki Sims 8th from Nico Palomino and Zygmunt, with David Swell being the first finisher to not score any points. Behind him is Labartin, Chaklerk, Versvio and Butler, with Bogdasarov and Kasper Lebeau the rest of your finishers. Lebeau dealt a really bad hand today, and you got a feel for the guy. As for the non-finishers in today's race, starts off with Nunez Garcia and Oinkro Ezra, then it's Marcus Nelson and Linus Eriksson. Sparks YT15, your Puff and Chris Cornwell were also unable to see the checkered flag. 63 points. 30 points is the margin out in front for Revo then. Revo leads the championship on 63, then it's Nelson and Cornwell tied on points, but it's Cornwell in 2nd due to the fact that he has a win. Then it's Garcia, Hudson, Ocampo and Hernandez. Then it's you, Cable, Palomino, your boy, and Sims, the top 11. Bogdasarov is 12th from Countryman, Kasper Lebeau and Devin Butler. Then it's Lars Clerk, Matthew Hart and Noah Puff from Labarton versus Theo and Zygmunt, with Sparks, Eriksson and 12 yet to score. In the constructors' standings heading in to the Toledo clash, Nord Hyperdrive leads the way on 96 points from Tag Heuer Porsche, who are tied on points with next to the TCR. Then it's Citroen version, BMW I and Andretti, and then a tie for 6th and 7th between Mercedes EQ and Logitech Power Motorsports. Sims 888 are 8th from Honda Racing Team and Kiro Raceco, with Amlin Aguirre and Venturi Racing rounding out the constructors' standings. Immediately after this broadcast, we're going to show you guys the Toledo clash. It's a shortened race with no safety cars or full course cautions or any of that. It is going to be green flag the entire way, even if there is a collision. It's going to be chaotic. It's technically non-canon, and we will see you there then when the Electric Racing League returns. Similar to Manila.